excited about our podcast at the Schoolhouse Brewery.
We're here in Windsor. My name is Rod Reeves. I look after some marketing and communications for Donna at Remax Advantage. And so we're here with Cam Hartley at the Schoolhouse Brewery. And Cam, let's go right back to the beginning. How did the Schoolhouse Brewery come to be, and why Windsor?
Well, I had just graduated from Acadia, and I had actually kind of gone into paramedicine, so I was a paramedic. And I'd fallen in love with this area going to Acadia, the valley. So I was looking for a property in kind of the valley area, but a little bit on the Halifax side, closer to Halifax, because I was working at the QE2 in Halifax. So I had been through Windsor. I didn't know anybody in Windsor, but I liked this geographic location. Skier, and just got to be close to the ski hill for me was important. And I had found an old schoolhouse that was assessed at zero, actually, that was being sold off by the community, and it was in terrible shape. But I did contact the realtor and went out and took a look at it. And of course, I don't think anybody was seriously thinking of that property as a fixer-upper. They were thinking of it as a bulldozer, tear down. But anyway, after I saw the property, I had done carpentry work previously, and the saying, it had good bones. Well, it had good bones. It had nothing else. It had, like, all the windows were smashed, and it was no insulation, no plumbing, no electricity. The foundation was crumbled, so the back part of the building just sank down. So it looked terrible. But actually, I figured if we put a new basement underneath it, a new foundation, it would straighten it all up, and then I could have something to work with. And so, I put in an offer and thought if it's meant to be, it's meant to be, and I got the property and spent the next 2 years working full-time as a paramedic, doing 4 12-hour shifts and 5 days off, and rebuilding the house till it was a livable space. Yes.
So the five days off didn't turn out.
No, it was 5 days. Yeah, it was a lot of working. But now we've got a house that's really our dream house, so when I had the house pretty much done, I actually ended up going overseas and making some money to pay for the house. Came back. When I came back to Nova Scotia, I had inherited some all-grain brewing equipment. I'd always been into kit brewing, so with this all-grain brewing equipment, I could make beer totally from scratch, no kits. So you're totally have the creative control. And I love beer, I love building stuff, I love design, so I kept on building a bigger and bigger brew system at the schoolhouse till I was making 150 liters a week, and I had lots of my market research crew who had keg systems in their houses and would support my brewing habit. Anyway, it got to a point where I thought, well, I should just make this a legitimate business. I was at that point, I was a high school shop teacher. So just doing this on the side, I made it a commercial brewery, and we were the smallest brewery in the province for several years. Started off only making 150 liters a week, just in a couple pubs out of the schoolhouse. So obviously, when my brewing habit was evolving into something quite big, like bigger than just a homebrew habit, of course I thought, well, maybe I can make this brewery. Clearly it has to be Schoolhouse Brewery, because my wife and I are teachers and we're in a schoolhouse, so that, cool. and I registered that name actually in 2008, Schoolhouse Brewery, the domain names and all that. So from there, I just kind of picked away at the whole business concept. 2013, I was a commercial brewery, and 2016, 2016, we opened up here.
Sounds like you outgrew your old location.
Oh, yes. Yeah, very much, yeah.
So that was probably part of the reason for the move, but I need to ask this question. You know, as we talked about before, you're not originally from here.
Yeah.
What made you pick Windsor?
Well, I always had to commute to work. I always commuted from here to Halifax, and then when I was a paramedic, and then I commuted from here to Berwick when I was a teacher. And people would ask me, "Are you ever going to move closer to work?" And I love where I live, and I love this area. So my answer was always, I'm going to move work closer to home. So that's what I did here. Originally, I kind of had planned my original plan was to build from scratch and do a production brewery in Falmouth. It had to be in this area because this is where the schoolhouse is, and this is where I am, so I don't want to commute. When we got to the point where we hit our ceiling, we needed to move, and building from scratch was going to take too much time and cost too much money. And I started considering Windsor, and the more I looked around Windsor, there was lots of available spots that had great potential here. The rest is sort of history. I came into this location, and I'm really happy with the revitalization of Windsor.
Yes.
When I bought the schoolhouse in 1999, there was 2 car dealerships on the waterfront, and I thought, what is going on? There's 2 car dealerships on a waterfront of a town. Anyway, here, fast forward almost 20 years later, and I'm actually in one of those, operating a business, a microbrewery in one of those car dealerships on the water.
Yeah.
So it's been nice to see those kind of changes, and I think this is definitely sort of a hidden gem as far as you're very close to the city, close to the airport. You've got the valley climate here, and there's lots of young families moving in because they can get real estate at a really reasonable price, and the schools are nice, and it's great to see. It's great to see kind of that younger professionals coming into town.
You kind of answered our next question a little bit. I was going to ask you if somebody's looking to move to the Windsor area, what attracted you, and what would you say to somebody that was looking to move to Windsor? You kind of already just answered that, but is there anything else you'd like to add that you think?
The proximity to Halifax is really nice, but still being able to live in, I live outside of town in sort of an agricultural area, and I like that. I like being able to be close enough to the city and close enough to a town, that you don't have to drive an hour to get groceries or gas or anything like that. So the location's great. Of course, the recreation here is nice. Skiing being so close. Ski Martox, not a huge hill, but they do really well with what they've got to work with.
Nice fitness center.
Yes, and they're building the rink and stuff. It's great since we've opened our doors here. We've definitely seen kind of more of a younger crowd come out of the woodwork than you usually see. So that's been great, and that's who we are and who we sort of want to be.
Right.
And you made reference to your close proximity to the city, but the other side of that is you're also close to the rest of the valley as well, which is certainly a selling point for Windsor too, right?
Oh, definitely, yeah. Having Acadia just 20 minutes down the road one way, there's sort of arts and cultural things down there. It is great. I mean, the valley, it's neat when I worked in Halifax and I'm driving out this way, especially in the spring, when the climate here is a couple weeks, 2 weeks ahead of what it is in Halifax. It makes, when you're driving down the roads and everything's starting to get lush and green here, that's a really nice time of year, and kind of helps you, reminds you why you like this area.
Cam, thank you very much for chatting with us today. We certainly
welcome.
appreciate it.
Thanks,
And,
Rob.
thanks for inviting us into your brewery here
No
today.
problem.
So thank you everyone for tuning in with us. We've had a wonderful time with Cam. If you haven't been to the Schoolhouse Brewery, or if you haven't been to Windsor, definitely get here. We look forward to our next visit, Lifestyles of the Annapolis Valley.